Hi there, good morning. You've tuned into ET now, and this is Buy Now Sell Now with me, Cheryl D'Souza. Along with me, I have Snehi Shah. And yes, it's a very good day coming in for the markets because you have the markets that are rallying in trade. There are a lot of positive cues coming in for the markets, Snehi. One, the fact that you have India-Pakistan with the immediate ceasefire, the tensions hopefully that is cooling off. Apart from that, Trump has said that there is going to be a likely announcement. At least the US and China have said their talks are constructive, so on back of that, that's a positive cue. And also Trump now, something that he's planning to do on cutting down the US drug prices. A lot of
Pharma also in focus on the back of that.
Yes,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at what the market is doing. First of all, good morning, Cheryl, and good morning to all our viewers as well. Quickly taking stock of what the market is up to right now. It's been a very good day of trade coming in for our markets. Of course, on the back of all the tables that Cheryl has mentioned, you have Nifty 50 that's up 2.8%. We're slightly below the day's highest point, but absolutely no complaints on that front. Sensex also a 2.7% uptick coming in. India Wix a very good cut of 17.5% coming in today. We're back to the sub 18 levels on the India Wix, so looking good on that front as well. Nifty Bank clearly outperforming the benchmarks right now, a 3.2% uptick coming in on Nifty Bank. Advanced decline ratio, barely a handful of stocks in the decline. The entire breadth of the market is green right now, and that is something that we are liking at this moment. Adani Enterprises, Shriram Finance, Jio Financial, Trent, Adani Ports, Axis Bank, all of these are stocks that are trading with gains of more than 4%, and these are all Nifty 50 counters, which is where the strength of the Nifty is coming from today. You have Sun Pharma that continues to be the top Nifty loser today, a 3% cut. You have IndusInd Bank that has slightly slipped into the red right now with a very slight negative bias of 0.3%. So IndusInd Bank and Sun Pharma, the only two stocks in the Nifty losing side. Other than that, 42 of the 50 Nifty stocks are gaining right now. If you take a look at what's happening on the sectoral front, you have all sectors that are in the green. Surprisingly, Nifty Pharma has also managed to hold on to the green right now, just a 0.1% uptick coming in, but nonetheless it's in the green, held on to by names like Granules, Aurobindo Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, Alchem, Cipla. All of these stocks are doing pretty okay today. On the flip side, biggest winner coming today is Nifty Realty. Very good moves coming in from names like Prestige Estates, Godrej Properties is doing pretty well in today's trade, DLF, Sobha, Lodha, all of them doing very well, followed by Nifty Metal, Energy, IT, Media. Then you have PSU Banks, Auto and FMCG, and lastly Pharma, which is the least sectoral gainer. So that's what the market breadth is looking like right now. Lots and lots of stocks in focus, and it's realty metals that are outperforming the entire market. If you take a look at some of the stocks that are at their all-time high, you have names like BSE, CEAT, Coromandel, SRF, Bharti Hexacom. All of these are stocks that have inched to their all-time high level. So the market momentum has buoyed all of these stocks in today's trade as well. But well, yes, that's what the market breadth is shaping up to be like right now, and market construct looking very, very positive.
Right, absolutely. So you have markets on a very firm footing in trade today, and given the fact that you have the pharma counters actually recovering from the day's lowest point, you have Zydus, Alchem, all of them seeing a good smart recovery. Remember that all of these counters were actually under pressure on the fact that Trump is looking to actually go ahead and cut some drug prices, medicine prices in the United States. Now as the street is digesting the news, you can see the recovery actually creeping for most of these pharma names, barring Sun Pharma, which is actually in the negative territory. Nevertheless, that one also, I believe, has seen a good recovery from the day's lowest point. Let's take a look at where Sun Pharma is at this point. Yes, it's down about 3%. It had actually started the day lower by about 5.5 or 6% or so. But let's put the spotlight then on your stock related queries. Remember, viewers, this is a show where we get your answers for all of your stock related queries. You can write to us on the number that's flashing on the top of your screen, the side of your screen. Do remember, each time you write to us, mention your name, the stock that you're looking to invest in, mention that name as well, along with the buy price, the quantity and the time horizon. In that way, our experts will be able to help you better. Today on the technicals, we have Lakshmikant Shukla of Yes Securities, who's joining us, as well as Gaurang Shah, who's also joining us on the show of On the Fundamentals. A very good morning to you, Lakshmikant, as well as Gaurang. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. And let's kickstart taking all of your stock-related query, viewers. Then this first one that I've got is coming in from Venkat Rao. He's writing to us from Vishakhapatnam. He wants to know about Bank of Maharashtra, 8,000 share at a price of 68 rupees per share. He's in a huge loss. At what price can he look to average? What's your take on this one, Lakshmikant? What price can he average? And should he actually go ahead and average Bank of Maharashtra?
From last few days, the stock has been facing resistance from its key moving averages, but for the last 2 days, the stock has seen some sort of rebound after taking support from the levels of 47. But on the higher side, I think that the major breakout could be expected only above the levels of 52.50. Then after the stock could move higher. So I think he should wait with the upside breakout whenever it occur above the levels of 52. Then after we could see upside momentum in the stock toward the levels of 58 to 60 mark. So with the stop loss of 47, he can hold this stock and wait for the breakout.
Lakshmikant, let's talk about the next query coming in from our viewer Murari Prasad from Greater Noida, and his query is about the defense sector and power sector. We have Gaurang also who's joined us on the show. Gaurang, let's me take this query with you now because it's on the defense space and power space right now. Our viewer is holding 380 equity shares of NHPC at an average price of 108. He's asking if he should continue to hold or if he should just sell his entire holding. And also on the broader sense, he's asking about the defense and power sector and what's looking good right now.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show, and good morning to all of you all. So, as a brokerage house, we have a positive view on both power as well as defense sector. Our only request to all the viewers of ET Now and investors who are inclined towards investing in power and defense, or even as a matter of fact, capital goods engineering or railway related stock. The first advice is that please have a longish time horizon if you really want to make meaningful returns out of your investment, because these are all long gestation sectors which take time to execute the order book. In the defense, as of now, we have coverage on Cochin Shipyard, BEL, and BHEL. But there are other companies which are equally strong. Of course, these are not recommendations, but just a reference to the names which can benefit from the focus of Make in India, Made in India, and the defense FDI. So those names are Hindustan Aeronautics, Mazgaon Docks, Bharat Dynamics, Garden Reach Shipbuilders, BEML. Of course, I'll again repeat, these are not recommendations. Our recommendations are only restricted to BEL, BHEL, and Cochin Shipyard. In power sector, there are a lot of companies that we have coverage. In generation, we have coverage on Tata Power, NTPC, Torrent Power, JSW Energy, CESC. We have coverage on power transmission and distribution, something like Power Grid. We remain extremely positive on these sectors, both these sectors, and these are the names that we have positive coverage on.
Name actually, Gaurang, that you've given in. No doubt you said that you don't have like a coverage on most of them, but it's amazing that you actually spoke so much about the power and the defense names that you're liking at this point in time. But let me take this next query. It's coming from Krish. He's 60 years of age. His question is for you. Also, he said that he likes your moustache as well as he likes your language skills in both Hindi and English. Wow, it's a great Monday coming in for you, Gaurang. Not just the markets are actually seeing a good up move. For a change, you've got a compliment on the show.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Cheryl. Thank you so much for using these kind words. Well, our endeavor is always to handhold investors from a long-term point of view, and by the virtue of the benefit that we get by coming on your esteemed channel like ET Now, we can reach out to the masses. So thank you to ET Now also for having me on the show.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, Cheryl, what was the question? I forgot.
I did not ask you the question. Now I'll ask you the question actually. The query was on Divi's Laboratories. 55 shares, the buy price is about 4,615. He wants to know whether he should add some more in his portfolio for a period of about 3 years. What's your take about Divi's Laboratories? Because this particular stock that is in focus always reacts to its numbers, and the reactions have always been pretty drastic and pretty sharp.
So, Cheryl, there is a concern, an overhang in form of what President Trump has announced, and that is one of the reasons why we saw a little bit of softish opening move on the pharma pack. Having said that, there is recovery visible, so that means that people are using these dips to buy into some strong stocks from a long-term point of view. As far as this question is concerned on Divi's Laboratories, as a disclosure, we have a hold recommendation on it. Even if you want to buy it, don't put all your efforts or all your money at one time. Stagger your, if you want to buy or make a fresh investments in on dips go on adding onto it. Targets are somewhere close to about 6,500. So there is a good risk reward ratio available. The only problem, Cheryl, is the short to medium term overhang in terms of tariffs and the announcements coming in from US or President Trump for this sector.
Appreciate that view coming in, but viewers, on that note, we'll slip into a very short break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. When we come back, we'll be interacting with...
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now, and as promised, after the break, we have the management of
for Udo Mindra. Gaurang, we'll come to you and let's talk about a stock that is going to be in conversation now. It has been in conversation over the last few days. I'm talking about a stock from the travel and tourism sector, because given everything that's been happening on our security front, the tourism space has taken a big hit in terms of demand and confidence amongst tourists as well. The stock in question right now is Indian Hotels. We have our viewer, Mr. Jayesh, who's writing to us from Mumbai. He holds 1,000 shares of Indian Hotels at 771 for the long term. He's asking, should he add more at the current price? What is your take on the entire travel and tourism sector now that we have had positive reinforcements coming in on the ceasefire as well? Do you believe that the temporary blip that this space had seen on account of paranoia and fear is now well behind us, and now summer demand could be a fillip for this sector?
Well, the unfortunate part about these kind of situation is that we don't know when the next unpleasant event is going to unfold. And there is absolutely nothing that we can do in terms of trying to precisely gauge that, isn't it? So all of us have to just take a wild guess on it and pray to Lord Almighty that, common sense and wisdom prevails upon the bordering country, and they start living their life for better rather than spend their time pushing in terrorists and creating this kind of unpleasant situation. Having said that, yes, there is a clear and present danger in the current scenario. We don't know whether this ceasefire will meaningfully hold out for the country across the border, that is Pakistan. Saturday they announced it, and within a couple of hours they violated it. But hope that US and China, both of them together, are able to convince and put some pressure on Pakistan not to do these kind of activities. Short term, medium term, yes, there is a concern. Long term, well, the sector looks extremely, extremely promising. Point number one. We have a positive coverage on Indian hotels. Likewise, there are other hotels which are hospitality related companies which are doing extremely well. Room tariffs have gone up considerably post the earnings. There is a verbatim that there is a possibility of another 15% hike in room tariffs. Along with that, you have if situation gets normal, traveling will pick up pace. You have one more announcement in the budget, that is travel related to healthcare.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but as you speak,
related travel.
Sorry, Gaurang, as you speak, actually, in fact, the things are looking like it's going to get normalized, because sources have told ET now the 25 routes that were cancelled have now been reopened. The airlines have received the communication, and they have been asked to start flight operations and resume back their proper schedule, but that will take some time. And the official order about the cancellation of NOTAM, that is the notice to airmen of closure of 32 to be issued shortly. So we will have these 32 airports that we had a closure for as a precautionary measures. The DGCA official order will come in where they'll cancel that NOTAM. So in back of that, you'll anyways have these airlines actually going back and flying to those routes, and it will actually open up the space. And as you were talking, Gaurang, the fact that now if this situation will normalize or normalize slowly, hopefully the aviation and the hospitality sector will also bounce back, and in fact sharply.
I completely concur with that. Along with this improvement in situation, Cheryl, we have new airports coming up in terms of commercialization of operations in form of, we have Navi Mumbai Airport coming up, possibly if everything goes well. Next month, June is what the timeline has been given to start operations. Then next year, we have Jewar Airport up north. Likewise, under Udan 1 and Udan 2, there are a lot of opportunities in terms of connectivity improving, and for airline sector also, and for hospitality sector to open up more assets over there. So we are positive on Indian hotels, and we are positive on, as far as aviation is concerned, since we are discussing about it, we are positive on Interglobe Aviation.
That's the take on Indian hotels. And Gaurang, pardon me, thanks for that view coming in. Let's move on and talk about the next query, and let's talk about a combined view coming in on Yes Bank, because this is also the stock in question right now, given everything that's been happening with SMBC and SBI stake when it comes to Yes Bank. So first we'll come to you, Lakshmikant. Let's get a technical check on Yes Bank. How is this stock shaping up on the charts today? Our viewer Mr. Kumar is writing to us. Kindly let us know whether to hold Yes Bank. Stock purchase at the rate of 19 rupees. He has 50,000 shares of Yes Bank that he got at an average price of 19. First of all, Lakshmikant, tell us on the charts how this stock is looking, and then Gaurang, we'll come back to you to get a better sense of everything that's been happening, at least on the news flow side when it comes to Yes Bank, and how the stock is faring in terms of investors' portfolio. But Lakshmikant, you go first and give us a tech check on the stock.
Yeah, as we all know that Yes Security Limited is this company of the Yes Bank. So due to SEBI restriction and guidance, I cannot give any recommendation or any view about this stock. So I think Gaurang sir is the right person from where you can take the fundamental view of this stock.
My bad, Lakshmikant. Pardon me, there was a slip up on my end. Gaurang, we'll come to you. Please give us a sense on what you are making of Yes Bank right now. Given that the stock has been lackluster, but now that we've had a sudden big news flow coming in, the stock has seen some momentum back today. So, what's the outlook going ahead?
I'll be very clear about this. First of all, my comments will only be restricted towards. It is not a recommendation in terms of buy, sell, and own, because we don't have coverage on Yes Bank. My recommendation is only, my view is only with respect to what is likely to happen. Look, from one large investor, the holding is going to get shifted to another large investor. Will this shift of holding have any meaningful impact on the numbers immediately or in the short to medium term? I beg to differ, because it is going to be a long time work in progress to get things in its place with respect to the earnings capability and capacity, and cutting down on gross and net NPA, reducing your provisioning, getting people to trust Yes Bank and start putting their money and deposits with them. It's going to be a long road to recovery. This knee-jerk reaction that we saw in the morning, it opened up quite smartly. I think it was at 21, and now as we speak, all those gains have been given away. So this is a stock which will take time to recover, and only time is going to tell. We can't preempt in any form in terms of recovery just because of a shift on holding from one large player to another large player. If you ask me, I beg your pardon, if you're looking at investment opportunities in the financial space, banking and finance, there are better names and there are better capable companies in the bank. So if you want to have a small, a small cap or a mid cap related bank, if you want to invest in private sector, we have coverage on a couple of them. First one is Federal Bank, second one is City Union Bank, and the third one is IDFC First Bank. So one needs to have this clarity. This is not easy. Shifting of large investors from one to another does not translate into recovery in earnings ASAP.
Just as we speak, you have the official order that has come in, where you have the NOTAM, that is the notice to airmen issued, allowing operations of 32 airports. The civil flight operations at 32 airports, which were closed earlier, will now actually resume. Let's note down the airports that actually had closure earlier. Remember that a lot of airports at Srinagar, you also had Dehradun also, that were impacted on back of the closure, and now you have the updated official order coming in that the NOTAMs has been issued, allowing operations at the 32 airports. You have the civil aviation operations actually now resuming. We will try and connect with my colleague Samir in a short while from now to actually get more details on that, and the fact that this is a positive sign. Looks like there is a normalcy that is actually resuming post the India-Pakistan immediate ceasefire. So this is the latest that we are getting, that government has allowed civil flight operations at 32 airports which were closed earlier on back of precautionary measures. I believe we'll have Samir in a short while from now, so we'll try and actually connect with him and speak to him and try to understand the significance of it. As of now, as you can see, all the aviation counters are soaring in trade. Indigo, SpiceJet are trading higher in excess of about 7%. You also have the hospitality stocks that will be in focus. You have GMR Airports that's seeing an uptick of about 4% or so. So watch out for all of these counters and keep them in mind, given the fact that you have progress happening when you talk about the situation, especially the geopolitical tensions between India and Pakistan. I believe, do we have Samir by any chance? Okay, we've not got Samir. But let me get your view quickly, Lakshmikant, on some of these counters. How are you viewing them on the charts?
See, talking about Indigo, so we have already seen a surge of around more than 7%. So now it is approaching toward its previous swing high of 5,700. So I think that would be the major resistance for this Indigo. So it need to clear this hurdle for moving on the upside until we get a decisive closure of the levels of 5,650 to 5,700 zone. We would see some sort of consolidation near this higher level. And on the downside, as we have seen now, the support has shifted higher toward the levels of 5,330 to 5,300 levels. So I think that would be the appropriate level from where one can make the entry, and one should wait the upside breakout of the levels of 5,650, from where the stock could pick momentum toward the levels of 5,950 to 6,000 zone. So that would be the good entry point, and from where one can initiate long position and keep the stop loss of 5,050 on the downside. So till it holds this support, we could anticipate this upside breakout.
Levels to watch out for Interglobe Aviation. Gaurang, we'll come back to you. Our viewer Shashi is writing to us from Mumbai. Their query is on CG Power. They hold 335 shares of CG Power at a buy price of 225. What's your view coming in on this stock?
This is again very challenging. This company is basically into electrical power equipment manufacturing, which is very core to the theme that we believe. When you ask me a question of power sector also, I refer to, this company makes equipments to enable power transmission and distribution. We are positive. We have a buy recommendation on CG Power from a long-term point of view. Well, if you are holding it, hold on to it. If you want to add to it, wait for a dip. And if you want to make a fresh investments, I think closer to 600 would be a very comfortable zone.
That's a take coming on CG Power. In fact, let's actually address the big story at this hour. You have Samir who's standing by to tell us about it. Samir, and this one looks like the situation actually normalizing, given the fact that you have now the NOTAM that has been issued to reopen 32 airports.
Definitely, this is a big development, especially for the aviation sector and even for the hospitality sector, that government has issued the revised NOTAM, which allows the civil flight operations at these 32 airports, which were earlier closed as a security safety precautionary measures. The closure of these 32 airports was announced by the government late Friday night, and it was done as a precautionary step. But now, after the announcement of ceasefire and now things getting back to normalcy, the government has now allowed the flight operations to these 32 airports. And this will be a positive step in the direction that now the airlines, whether it be Indigo, SpiceJet, Akasa, Air India Express, they can now resume their flight operations. Earlier, Indigo has announced that they are planning to operate sort of a relief flight or a special flight that will help the stranded passengers at these impacted airports so that they can plan up their journey. Indigo also announced that they can, if the impacted passengers are having a confirmed ticket booking, then they need not to pay any rescheduling or cancellation charges. They can fly with that particular ticket to the earlier planned travel destination. Also, we are picking up from our sources that similar sort of relief measures might be announced by the other airlines as well. Initially, if you see that a regular flight operation or a scheduled flight operations will not happen very soon. It will take some sort of time, but we can see that some flights taking off, some flights reaching to these 32 airports, especially Jammu, Srinagar, Leh, Dharamshala, these all airports, which are sort of a tourist hub. Flights will operate to these destinations, and we can expect that in the next 12 to 24 hours, a scheduled or a regular flight operations might take place.
Thanks so much for getting us all of the fresh latest updates coming in from the aviation front. And once again, thanks so much for joining us. We'll reconnect with you if we have any development on that note. But on that note, viewers, time now to slip into a very short break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. Keep sending us your queries and we'll be addressing them once again on the other side of this very short break. Hi there viewers, welcome back to Buy Now, Sell Now. The Adani Group counters are firing away in trade today, but the stock in focus on the back of news flow is Adani Power. The company has bagged a bid to supply 1,500 megawatt of thermal power to the state of Uttar Pradesh. As part of the contract, the company will supply power at a highly competitive tariff of rupees 5,383 per unit from a greenfield ultra supercritical power plant to be set up under the design, build, finance, own and operate model in the state. This after the Uttar Pradesh cabinet approved the project earlier this month. The company will now sign a long-term power supply agreement with the UP Power Corporation under the letter of award.
All right, so that is about Adani Power, but let's move on and let's continue taking your stock related queries then. And the next query that I have is coming in from Shashi, who wants to know, but I believe we've already taken Shashi's query. Let me take this one from Thomas V. George, wants to know about Devyani International, 1,000 shares at 150 rupees per share. Wants to know what to do with it right now. What's your take on Devyani International? Gaurang, do you track this one?
Well, the QSR segment looks very interesting, Cheryl, and we've been positive on the sector for a pretty long time. And one of the coverages that we have in this particular sector is the initial company which entered this sector, that is Jubilant Foodworks. I think if you want to bet into QSR segment, you should go for the best. Unfortunately, we don't cover Devyani, so I won't be able to give you a specific comment.
So that's the take on Devyani International. Let's move on and talk about the next query. And we have our viewer, Mr. Kabir Bedi, writing to us from Patiala. And Lakshmikant, let's take this query with you. He's holding 1,500 shares of Paradep Phosphates at 90 rupees per share. He's been holding since the month of Feb this year. He's asking for advice if it's a good level to book profits or hold further for another 3 to 6 months. So what are the price levels that you're viewing for Paradep Phosphates, let's say from a 6-month time frame on the charts?
Has given falling channel breakout on the daily chart, and day before on Friday the stock has made piercing candle pattern, so which is reversal kind of pattern. So overall structure seems to be bullish, so I think he can hold for the next 6 months also. So whereas the stop loss is seen near the levels of 128, so that would be the levels from where we could see some sort of rebound. But I think once it crosses the levels of 154, 155, which is the recent swing high, so then after we could see acceleration in the buying momentum, and during that case this stock could move higher toward the levels of 175 to 180. So I think he can hold the stock, and he can keep the stop loss of around 128 whenever we could see some sort of recovery in this stock. So overall structure seems to be bullish, and he could expect the target of 175 to 180.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Paradep Phosphates. This one is coming from Radhakrishnan, writing to us from Bangalore. Wants to know about RailTel, 100 shares of RailTel at a price of around 450 odd rupees. Should he look to book loss or average a little bit? His holding time is 1 year, and he wants to know about target also. What should he do? What strategy should he adopt when you talk about RailTel, Lakshmikant?
RailTel has also seen some sort of rebound, but overall structure seems to be facing resistance from the levels of 345 to 350 zone, until unless we see any kind of breakthrough above this level. So I think range bound move will continue, whereas downward support is seen near the levels of 290. So I think either it should give breakout of the levels of 345 to 350 zone, from where it could pick momentum toward the levels of 400, or it could give breakdown below the levels of 290, from where we could see selling pressure in this stock, and it could slip lower toward the levels of 280. So I think he should wait for the breakout or breakdown, then after we could suggest something in this stock.
Okay, so that's the take coming in on RailTel. Gaurang, this query is coming to you. Our viewer is holding RCF and Bandhan Bank. They hold 120 shares of RCF at 221 rupees, and Bandhan Bank, they hold 215 shares at an average price of 321. Both of these holdings since 2018 they have been holding, and at present incurring a loss of about 38,000. They're seeing their patience has broken. What is the advice when it comes to both of these names, RCF and Bandhan Bank? Do you think that they have it in them to make it back to our viewers' buy price?
Well, honestly, if the capability and capacity was there of earnings improvement, then it would have translated, right? From 2018 to 2025, you've given long-term investment time to these companies. Having said that, let me categorically admit that we have coverage on Bandhan Bank, but we are advising investment into Bandhan Bank to those investors who have ultra high risk appetite, given the uncertainty and fluctuation in terms of earnings. 1 or 2 quarters are good. The remaining quarters are worse than what the good quarters delivered. And that is purely because of the exposure, loan book exposure that Bandhan Bank has. So, and unfortunately, the acquisition price is way beyond where our target price are. You can have patience and possibly you see recovery in the stock price and your losses getting reduced. You can take or call accordingly. Even RCF, though, the fertilizer sector looks promising to us, but RCF is not something that we have coverage. We have a coverage on a relative competitor company, Coromandel International. And I would say one thing, if you've given time and if your investment is not yielding returns, then you should take appropriate steps, remedial steps immediately and rectify your mistakes, if any.
All right, so that's the take coming in on the stock. Let me take this next query then. And the next query that I have is coming in from our viewer. Kusuma wants to know about Cipla for a period of 1 month. Technically, can she look to buy the stock at current price? If not, any other alternate stock which has breakout technicals for about 10% upside in the next 1 month? Given the way how things have been panning out, Lakshmikant, I think she's put you in a fix, asking you that which is a stock that is going to show you a 10% upside on the technicals for a period of about 1 month only, because you have so much of news flow ever changing, and it's been dramatic actually, to say the least.
Cipla has seen some sort of rebound after taking support from its key moving averages. Now it is moving toward the levels of 200 DMA, which is placed around the levels of 1520. So I think that would be the good levels from where she can take entry and can wait upside till the levels of 1770 to 1580. But as she is talking about that, she looking for the pharma stock which could give more than 10% of return within a month. So I think she should switch from Cipla to Granules. So I think that would be the stock which is looking good, and it has also found bottom near its previous swing low of 420 to 430 zone, and from where we could expect some consolidation breakout above the levels of 463, 465, and then after we could see some sort of buying momentum in this stock, which could push it higher toward the levels of 495 to 500 zone. So I think the structure of granules is looking good on the daily chart, whereas indicator and oscillators also affirming the same buying action in the upcoming days. So I think so that would be the good stock from where one can entry and can anticipate the upside of 8 to 10% in the upcoming sessions.
Coming in on Cipla, let's move on to the next stock. Gaurang, our viewer Mr. C.K. Bhaumik is writing to us and wants your view and prospects on 3 stocks: GAIL, NMDC and ONGC. These are the 3 stocks that he holds in various quantities. What's your outlook on all 3 companies?
3 happens to be a PSU company, isn't it? And there is a concern as far as, PSU related investments, barring, of course, your defense sector, which has done very well. Oil exploration, ONGC and GAIL, very challenging times, though crude oil prices are lower, but a direct benefit to exploration companies is going to take time in terms of earnings improvement. So you need to, I mean, we have, okay, let me give a candid disclosure. We have coverage on all three of them, GAIL, ONGC, and NMDC. But the sector and the companies that you've chosen, by default, your time horizon needs to be at least 2 years plus if you really want to make any meaningful return out of your investment. So if you have that, continue to hold on.
All right, so that's the take coming in on the stock. Let's actually mark the flash on the bottom of your screen because you have Virat Kohli, who's announced retirement from Test cricket earlier in the week or last week. You also had Rohit Sharma, isn't it, Snehi, who
Absolutely.
announced retirement. Now you have Virat Kohli also, who's announced the retirement from Test cricket, and you follow cricket very closely.
I do. In fact, I've just opened my phone. It's actually quite surreal to see that Virat Kohli has retired. You know, we saw this coming, right? Because after last week, like you
Yes,
mentioned,
exactly.
Rohit Sharma, it's quite a long post that he's put. It's quite touching, and I'm going to take a detailed look at this post after the show. But meanwhile, let's keep it going with the show. Although it's a really heavy thing to digest that Virat Kohli has now announced retirement from Test, but well, he is still playing in other formats. So Cheryl, at least that is some form of consolation coming in from Virat Kohli's end.
Yes, so that is Virat Kohli. Right after Rohit Sharma, you have Virat Kohli now, who has actually announced the retirement from Test cricket. Snehi wants to take a pause, actually go ahead and read that sort of a post. So I will let her do that and take the moment and actually read that post coming in from Virat Kohli. And let me take the next query then. And this one is coming in from Ignatius, writing to us from Kolkata, wants to know about Rites. 50 shares at a price of 358 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he can average at these levels. What sort of a target should he expect for the next 6 months? Lakshmikant, firstly, any views of Virat Kohli announcing retirement from Test cricket? One on that, and the other one you can then answer on Rites as well.
So I think it is very surprising that he has also announced his retirement after the announcement of the retirement of Rohit Sharma. So I think both are very good friend, and I think they have discussed both of them, and then after they have made the decision of the retirement, and we also know that they already have made retirement from its 20 overs match, T20 matches, and now they are taking retirement from the test match. So I think that would be the disappointment for all the follower and fans who appreciated their matches and their performance. So I think for every fan and for me also, it is quite surprising that he took this decision. So now talking about the rights, so this stock has found bottom near the levels of 210 to 208 marks, and then after we have seen a bounce back move in this stock, today this stock is capturing its 50 and 20 DMA levels also. So I think he should wait for the decisive breakthrough of the levels of 230. Once it taken out this level on a closing basis, then he can do averaging in this stock and can expect the upside move toward the levels of 250. So which would be the next upcoming resistance for the rights, and support is seen near the levels of 210, and this, as long as it holds this level, we could expect this upside move toward the levels of 250.
The view coming in on Rites. Gaurang, I believe you also have a view to share on Virat Kohli's retirement. So first, take us through your view of this. It's a major development coming in. So first, take us through your view, and then I'm going to ask you about IDFC First Bank. But first, what are you making of this?
I will appreciate the decision, to be very honest, both for Rohit Sharma as well as Virat Kohli, and including Dhoni when he retired. My belief is, maybe I'm right or wrong, I don't know about it, but when you are at your peak, when the sun is shining bright on you, I think that's the time when you have to take a difficult decision. You have to take it, right? You can't take these kind of decisions when the sun is about to set on you. So I appreciate it. I think he has done his best. He, along with, of course, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, and the likes of cricketing stars that we've had, including Sachin Tendulkar, etc. So I definitely appreciate it, and I'm sure whatever he's done, whatever contribution he has given to the Indian cricket and the aspirations, he's been looked upon as a performer. There are young cricketers look at Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma and Sachin Tendulkar and Dhoni as gods of cricket. I would not be short of saying that. And in a country where where cricket is a religion, I think you would need to take this kind of so that people look upon you. So I am absolutely proud of what decision is taken, and I thank him and the rest for whatever contribution they have done to the Indian cricket. As far as IDFC First Bank is concerned, well, this is also a tricky one, something like a Bandhan Bank, because last 2 quarters, the exposure in the MFI segment has actually pulled down the profitability and given a up push as far as the asset quality and provision is concerned. We remain positive though, and surprising after the announcement of fourth quarter numbers, from 60-62 IDFC First Bank has gone up to 68 where it trades right now. So we have a positive coverage. It will take time. Road to recovery is visible, is there in the sight, but it will take time to reach there. So hold on to it from a long-term point of view.
Hold on to IDFC First Bank is what he's saying, or what Gaurang is saying. But thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us on the show. Thank you so much, Lakshmikant, as well as Gaurang. I know this particular show was marked by a lot of breaking news. One on the no time actually being lifted, and the other one that is flashing on the bottom of your screen. Then Virat Kohli also now has announced the retirement from Test cricket. On that note, it's a goodbye from Snehi, myself, and the team that put the show together. Thank you so much for watching.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.